this around us. We see so much on this beautiful planet that's being spoiled, and it's all part of a same mindset.
Well, that's why now even HBO has 5- and 4-year-old girls doing sexual acts on TV with giant objects, but they say that's okay, and that we're just square because we don't like it.
Yeah, it's to pervert, it's to destroy, it's to ruin what's nice and clean and pure. I remember on the microcosm meeting a man who he had met a nun, and because this nun was pure and clean, he had this irresistible urge to spoil her, and he only seduced her just so that he could spoil her. And then once he had ruined her, why, he threw her away. This is the type of mindset we're dealing on the macrocosm.
See, I have an irresistible urge, like turning the light on at midnight and finding a big cockroach on the floor to bash these people's brains out.
and the extension of this is if they will do it to innocent little children, what are they going to do to you and I? What kind of poisons are they sticking in us? And what is going on in our lives that show this callous
yeah, let's talk
abuse.
about that. I mean, why are they putting fetus parts flavoring in Pepsi, the secret sauce? Why do they want to put fluoride in the water? Why exactly? Spiritually, because it's more than that. Exactly. Their religion is hurting us and our beautiful minds. These people are the ultimate trash. They are the ultimate trash. And we will defeat them.
The InfoWar.
I was talking to one of our nightly news reporters and anchors, Darren McBreen. By the way, folks, we've gone through the 600, 700 videos that came in for the reporter contest. I'm trying to watch them when I'm on the road driving to Bilderberg. I'm going to try to watch hundreds of them and get it down to the top 10 or so, and then we're going to put the top 10 out and let you guys vote on them. That won't be binding, but just to give us an idea of what you think for the reporter contest. But McBreen was talking about having to go to Walmart to get something that wasn't anywhere else, and he went through the children's aisles, going someplace in there, and it was all little dolls with tiny mini skirts and dressed like hookers. And they've had Nickelodeon brass a few years ago come out and say, we're now going to target the preteens with sexual stuff. And again, it's meant to wreck your children. My children are so innocent compared to other children their age, but they know about science and literature and mathematics and the things that are good in the world, but they don't know about demon conjuring video games and stuff. And so people that actually at a young age learn about the world, it actually stunts them. And that's what the system's looking for, is basically ruining people before they develop discernment. Comments on that, Fritz Springmeier?
You're 100% correct. You're very eloquent today in describing all of this. And I've noticed it too, what you're saying, how we have this targeting of the children in sex and violence. And with
Prozac and everything else. I mean, but what about the dungeon keeper stuff where they admit the CPS grabs children and then drugs them till they basically die?
Yeah. And a whole generation is being given Ritalin and things like this so that they're, I've met people that became drug addicts because they were given Ritalin in school.
Oh, they admit that. Yeah, and that's the plan.
Yeah. And it's over the top.
Now, you wanted to get into medical stuff. Why do they want to adulterate our bodies? Well,
one thing, it's how you control people. As long as people are sick and having problems thinking straight, why they're easier to control. And also, besides being able to control them by making sure that we're all constantly getting sick, we become dependent upon their medical system. Their medical system extracts large amounts of money from us, and you'll notice that surgery and drugs are their medical methodologies of choice, because that's what they make money off of. Something that they can't make money off of and make us dependent on them, like these alternative medical methods that would actually heal us and be inexpensive and something that we could use and control ourselves, they suppress. So we see that the American Medical Association and some of these other organizations that the general population think are there to protect them are actually working more as a mafia, to like the FDA. And you had Dr. Whittaker on your show before, and a lot of these people that are coming up with good alternatives, things that will actually help us, are being ran out of town. They're being put in jail. They're having their careers ruined.
Well, Fritz, notice that when we made the American Medical Association admit fluoride shouldn't be used in children 6 or younger because it causes fluorosis, not to mention cancer, suddenly it was all over the shelves in more toothpaste, in bottled water, fluoride for kids. But it's just like all the sugar gum now. All of it at the store. I mean, there could be 100 brands, has aspartame in it. And I see these little kids buying it, knowing it's an excitotoxin and very deadly, basically wood alcohol. And the kids all look unhealthy that are getting it, by the way. And I've gotten where I just say, hey, that's got aspartame in it. That's going to hurt your child. And sometimes the parents get mad at me, but I don't care. I'm just going to make scenes everywhere, Fritz. I'm done. That's what everybody needs to do. Make scenes everywhere. Break the silence. Break the normalcy bias. Warn people, stay there. I want to come back and look at this because it's more than just that. They're obsessed with defiling our temple. They believe that if they can do that, they can control us. And they're control freaks. They love the fact that they know that they're poisoning us through the food, the water, the air. It's a big joke to them. I want to ask you, where is it all leading? Fritz Springmeier, author of Bloodlines, the Illuminati, available at Infowars.com.
We're on the march. The empires.
We're back live, ladies and gentlemen. About to go back to Fritz Springmeier and just take some of your phone calls. By the way, I'm really into books that are out of print, that are seminal, and Bloodlines of the Illuminati was out of print, and so we got 5,000 of them printed, and those are almost been sold out. We're about to reprint. I found out the one lone little publisher, and he's got, well, I'm not going to get into the personal stuff. This book is basically going out of print. Could be going out of print. It's very hard to get. It's very expensive. It sells for as much as $200 on some of the websites out there, where we're selling it for right above what we bought it for. So we're selling it at a price to get these out to everybody. Unabridged, Tragedy and Hope, A History of the World in Our Time, Carol Quigley. And it goes on, a definitive work of the world's power structure. This book, only a few thousand got printed. The elite had the plates destroyed. We've got news clips of Quigley complaining the book got out. It was only meant for the elite. To understand the minds that are shaping the world, read the book that shapes their minds. And it's got Bill Clinton quoted here. Here's Carol Quigley. The powers of financial capitalism had a far-reaching plan, nothing less than create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. Carol Quigley. And I have articles here where they can't even come out with the movie Red Dawn, the remake, because it had communist Chinese invading America with Latin Americans. So they had to spend something like $1 million, I was reading, to re-edit it as North Koreans. And still it may not come out because China's putting pressure. And I have USA Today with the Chinese government saying, we want to influence the American people. We've just bought the biggest theater chain in the United States. And we want to buy up the media to influence the people. They don't even, but I mean, so what? Let the communist Chinese run the media. It's already foreign banks that run our media. I mean, this is so off the charts. But Tragedy and Hope, A History of the World in Our Time, Carol Quigley, is available at Infowars.com. Your purchase also supports the broadcast. You get a free citizen rule book with it. and bumper stickers. But look, I mean, they're in nice plastic when you get it shrink wrapped, heavy duty shrink wrap. I mean, this is a nice book. And it is, I've been going from memory saying 1,000 pages. It's 1,300 pages long, and it's got maps in it and stuff. It's over 1,300 pages, 1,348 pages. And I don't expect you to read the whole thing, but it's important to have this because this was given to State Department and CIA people who couldn't understand we're funding communist and fascist. How does this work? Well, it works by full spectrum dominance. The bankers fund all the major sides as long as they call for big government. That's like Mitt Romney, Barack Obama. Tragedy and Hope, available with Bloodlines, the Illuminati. These two books together, in fact, I ought to combo them. I'm going to go tell them to combo them and discount them both even more if you get both together at Infowars.com. Okay, I've been ranting here, Fritz. Continuing, why do they want to adulterate the body? What are ways they're doing this? And in the news today, what are some of the main things you're looking at? And again, where does the Illuminati want to take us?
Okay. As you were saying earlier before we took our break, that you were going to ask where some of this was leading. And I would call people's attention to the fact that the United States is the world's reserve currency, and China would like to dethrone the United States as the world's reserve currency. If it was just China, I might not be so concerned, but I know that the Illuminati, the top financiers in the world, the powers that be financially, want to destroy the U.S. dollar. And so they want to dethrone the United States' dollar from being the world's reserve currency. What does that mean for us? What it means is throughout our lifetime, we've had all of these people saying that the U.S. economy is out of control, you know, our government's overspending, and that this house of cards is going to collapse, but it never collapses. And we haven't become a third world country like Brazil or Argentina. Our economy hasn't collapsed like Argentina. Why not? Because other countries come to our rescue and buy our debt because we're the world's reserve currency. But there's a move now to take that away from us. Once we're dethroned as the world's reserve currency, then there's nothing to really stabilize the dollar from hyperinflation. Once we're into hyperinflation, we're into serious problems. And this is where having poor health comes into play, because people that do not get adequate nutrition are now ripe for something like an epidemic, influenza, or some other epidemic. And you can historically go back and see when there were famines, the elite would follow that famine with an epidemic. And then you would have major population decreases.
And by the way, we have ignorant people listening. It might be new listeners. Even the Huns and others would catapult rotten plague bodies over walls they were sieging. They knew about plague thousands of years ago and how to use it. It's in British Army manuals from 300 years ago, you know, how to lance pox boils and put it on blankets and give it to Indians you want to kill. So you're absolutely right about that.
So, you know, the bottom line is population control and genocide. The useless eaters, as certain people view them, will be decreased in numbers. On the flip side, those of us who believe in a wonderful creator, he said that according in his word,